I do reporting in ServiceNow. I just received a Google Sheet that has a skeleton table. It was presented to me as a set of requirements with specific KPIs the stakeholders want for evaluations. They want the results in a table. They also want this evaluation in an ad hoc manner, running the KPIs when needed. Here's an example of what the Google Sheet looks like. You can see that I have columns separated by the KPIs they are looking for, along with calculations related to those KPIs, such as getting percentages, and they also want it broke out into total number, along with 3 different assignment groups that they will evaluate. So how do I get the data necessary to deliver on this request? VividSheets is one answer. Let's take a look at how we may use VividSheets to meet this request. I've gone ahead and set up some basic structure to the sheet that I need to deliver. Now you'll see the same columns along the top that have the KPIs that have been requested. Has the same assignment groups here on the left, along with the total row. You'll also notice that I have some information set up over here on the right that will be used to create the queries needed to gather the information for the KPIs. Let's go ahead and do the calculation for the number of incidents for the total row. Now when I go ahead and start typing, you'll notice I have a list of functions. In this case, I just want a count of total open incidents. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Vivid Count. Now, this function takes 2 pieces of information, the ServiceNow table and the encoded query. In this case, I'm going to use the incident table, which is column N and row 2. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in there. It will always be column N and it will always be row 2. Now for the encoded query, I'm going to need 2 pieces of information. In this case, I want to have open active equals true. And so it will always be column N and always be row 3. So I can use the same syntax that I used previously with the $signs. And then I also want to add all the assignment groups, which in this case is column N and row 6. It's always going to be row N, but in this case, the rows are going to change based on the reference because I want each of the assignment groups also. So I'm just going to put in 6. After I've finished putting in the information to the function, I'm going to hit enter. And you'll notice that we now have this awaiting collection. What has happened here is VividSheets has validated the query, making sure we have a valid query in order to collect the data that I'm looking for. When I'm ready to collect the data, I can go up here to the right. I can hit collect data. It'll run the query and give me the result. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to apply it to each of the rows. Again, it's validating that the queries are valid. And then when I'm ready to run, I can hit collect data. Now, repeating this process is fairly simple. I'm using the information on the right-hand side to feed the formulas for the function to collect the data. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. Okay, I now have my open incidents and the number of open incidents not updated in the last 30 days. One of the KPIs I have is calculating the percentage of that. What I can do here is go ahead and start typing in the bar, and I can see that divide is one of the functions I have. In this case, I know I have the information I want, so I can use the function here, and divide divides 2 values in this case, so I have value 1 and value 2. Value 1 for me is going to be always column C in row 2, and then always column B for the second value, and row 2 is relative in this case. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now you'll see in this case, the value was calculated right away. I'm going to go ahead and paste that down the column, and we can see that the values immediately show in the column. Again, this is a little bit repetitive, so I'm going to go ahead and speed it up again a little bit. Now that we have the results of all of our KPIs for both the total and our 3 assignment groups, one of the requirements that I had was not only producing this table one time, but I would need to be able to produce this table in an ad hoc manner. The next time that I'm asked for this request, all I need to do is come up to the sheet, go hit collect data, and it will get all the information and KPIs based on the most recent information. One of the questions that remains after seeing the example is, what questions would you answer with VividSheets?